Give me water, bring it up from the ground, cool, clean water. There's enough to go around. Bee cave drilling. Give me water. Bee cave drilling. Give me water.
Hi, I'm Jim Blair with Bee Cave Drilling. Do you have low production on your well? Maybe it's not giving you the volume of water that you want? Well, there are three main things that can come up that might slow that flow. Number one might be a little bit of mud sitting in the bottom of that well, restricting the water from flowing. Number two might be that the aquifer itself might have too small of holes, too small of porosity, and it's just not letting the water flow through the aquifer as fast as you need it. The third problem might be that the water level in your well may be too low relative to how deep your well is. Stick with us on this video. We're going to look at these issues and see how we can increase the flow of your well. Okay, so the first issue we decided we had was mud in the bottom of your well. Now, we've got a little demonstration set up here. We've got some sand set up in our well, and Fritz is going to show us how we get it out with what we call a jetting action. Yeah, so we just put a pipe down inside the well and we blow air down there with a big air compressor, and that blows everything up and out of the hole. Now Fritz will blow really, really hard. I'll get out of the way. Yeah, he gets it all over. But yeah, that's how we get it out of your well. Okay, so we're starting our jetting action now. You can see the water coming out. It's making a little bit of water. It's not quite the flow we want. So let's go a little deeper and see if we can increase the flow.
Give me water, bring it up from the ground, cool, clean water. There's enough to go around. Bee cave drilling. Give me water. Bee cave drilling.
Okay, so we started out jetting it out here on the grass, but we knew it was going to get dirty, so we put that into a bag so that we didn't mess up this beautiful lawn. We got the well all cleaned out, and you can see the flow that the sucker's making. It's making a lot of water. So now it's time for us to pull our jet pipe out, set the pump back in the ground, get this customer some good clean water. Okay, so the second issue we talked about was porosity, and that's just the holes that are in the rock that let water flow through to your well. I've got three common types of wells shown here. I've got gravel, I've got sand, and I've got a karst limestone. Now, that jetting action we just showed you, that's going to clean out the inside of the well, the inside of the borehole, the inside of the casing. But what it's not going to do is reach back 5, 10, 15 feet back into the aquifer and clean out anything that may be back in there that's slowing the flow. Imagine if you had some clay stuck back in your gravel or some mud back in your sand. So for that, we use acid. What we do is we pour the acid in the well and we pour water in on top of it. And that forces the acid back and out into the aquifer. If you've got some clay mixed in with your sand or gravel, it's just going to go back in there and dissolve it. If you've got some old drill cuttings or some mud back in your karst limestone, it's going to dissolve them. One other really cool thing it's going to do, it's going to attack this karst limestone. It's going to flow right where the water actually flows, and it's going to eat on each of those holes, making them bigger, and that's just going to increase the flow of water to your well. Now let's take a look at how this acid works and make sure that it's not going to damage your well. Okay, to show you how all this works, I've got scientist Fritz here to help us make sure that we're doing this right and doing it safe. The first thing we want to make sure of is that we're not going to damage your casing. Your casing is probably made out of PVC or steel. Here's a piece of PVC, and you're not seeing any bubbles. That means there's no reaction going on. If there's any rust on it, it might clean that off. That's all it's going to do. Here's some galvanized steel. If there was any rust on that, it would just clean that off, but other than that, it's not going to affect it. Now let's talk about your pumping equipment. You might have a stainless steel pump. So here's a stainless steel fitting. See what happens with stainless steel. Nothing, no reaction whatsoever. You might have some brass fittings, a check valve or something like that in there. How about the submersible cable? That's next. It's copper with a PVC jacket on it. I'll make sure that it's not going to damage that. Looking for any kind of foam, we're not getting any kind of reaction. All right, so now what's going to happen when we put the piece of limestone in there? That is the big show. That's what we want to see. Wow, look at that, it's dissolving it. So this is going to go to work in your well. It's going to dissolve that limestone, increase that flow. So so you get an increased flow. Now, one of the cool things about this is it's going to sit there and work on it for hours and hours and hours. Usually we leave this in there for about a week. That gives it plenty of time to dissolve everything it can until it completely neutralizes. At that point, it doesn't hurt anything. We put a bunch of water in behind it, set the pump back in the well, flush it all out, and you've got a good clean well with increased flow. The third issue is that your well just may be too shallow. Sometimes wells just don't get drilled deep enough for whatever reason. Hopefully there's more aquifer down below that we can go get. Now, we have a whole team of drillers that are eager to come out and drill your new well. But if you'd like to save the money, gather up all your records, your service records, your drilling reports, anything you've got that might tell us what's been done to that well. Get those over to the project manager and let them analyze it. They can give you an educated decision about whether or not jetting or acidizing will be very effective on your well. If you want to drill a new one, we'd love to do that. Thank you for letting us be your well man.
Give me water, bring it up from the ground, cool, clean water. There's enough to go around. Bee cave drilling. Give me water. Bee cave drilling. Give me water.
Call Bee Cave Drilling now for a free estimate.
Give me water.